Mega here. So I just got back from the track. So this is the track day kind of test day at the track from Sonoma Raceway. This is the after action review, the AAR. Okay. I apologize about the traffic sounds. I can't do anything about it. Okay. But anyway, here they are. They made it back. Okay. Made it back. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about like how. The main reason that we went out there was to go test the Light Be Out with the new Lightspeed battery pack. So the last time I went to the track was in February, and we took both of these bikes, and I took this bike. Okay. All right. So yeah. So during that time, I didn't have the NXT display, I didn't have the Lightspeed battery installed yet, and I didn't have the heatsink. Okay. Also prior to like yesterday, I installed a new throttle box, the Suron speed controller. Okay, it really didn't help all that much, but the throttle was a lot smoother. So I guess those throttles, they wear out after a while, and it gets hard to twist the throttle. So I did notice it was the throttle was really smooth. So it's not all dirty like my old ones. Okay. So that's the stuff that I changed on this bike since the last time. Also it has a 48-tooth sprocket. I installed the 48-tooth sprocket from the dirt wheel onto here, okay, and I properly calibrated and everything with the NXT display. So I think we're gonna keep the 48-tooth sprocket on there, okay. So this guy, KLX1, it's a KLX 170 is what it is. So this bike was used. Well, I brought it so I can ride it, you know. I hate just letting this poor guy sit around, you know. And I'm going to talk about the difference between both bikes, you know. This is actually a KLX 170. It's a 170cc. It's a 166, but they go up to like 170. So it's a KLX 140 that has a bored up cylinder that makes it a 170. It's pretty fast, okay? It's faster than a 140, I'll tell you that, okay? It'll hold its own out there. I was passing like an R3 out there, you know. Yeah, still a lot of fun to ride. It's a different kind of animal, and I'll talk about the difference between riding these two on the track. I kind of brought this bike as like a benchmark bike, okay? So there's like three different test bikes is what I'm gonna say. I got the batteries, so technically the Suron was like two bikes, okay? I kind of treated the Suron as two bikes. I call it slow Suron and fast Suron, okay? So one had the Lightspeed battery, the 72-volt battery, and then one had the stock Suron battery, a 60-volt battery, okay? And then I had the NXT display. I can mess around with the stuff. I had some issues with the stock battery setup. Okay, I didn't set something properly, and I didn't have regen, so I had to ride without regen. So it was interesting. Yeah, and like there was regen, but it was like very weak. So yeah. So this was actually treated as like two bikes, and we're gonna compare. At the very end of the video, it'll probably be a different video maybe. I'm gonna go watch all the videos and time all the laps and everything, and then we'll see, you know, we'll analyze the data, okay, the lap times, okay. Obviously, I think this guy would probably be more consistent. This one, we'll go over that why I think this one would be more consistent. Obviously, it's gasoline, you know, it doesn't deplete its energy supply. It doesn't lose voltage. Okay. So today configuration is I've never ridden this configuration ever before. Okay. This is a Simraceway, the kart track at Sonoma Raceway. Okay. And I had never ridden this track configuration before. It's just turn after turn after turn. Okay. You get no break. It's just one turn after another. There's no really long sweepers. There's no straightaways. You know, there's not too many straightaways. Okay. The max speed we were hitting out there was 50 miles an hour. Okay. Now I don't even think we hit 50 miles an hour. We hit 49. The 49 was the max, and we did it on this. Okay. This was pretty close. This almost hit 49 also. I think 48.5 or something. Pretty much 49. Okay. So that leads me to believe this bike is about as fast as this bike now. So before, this bike used to whip up on this one all the time. Okay, with the stock battery. Okay. So yeah, I've never ridden that configuration before, but the cool thing is my two bikes here, my mini bikes, they do better on courses with more turns. So that's the good thing. So I'm just gonna kind of summarize like what went on. So the first time we got there, the first time we went out on the track was with the Lightspeed battery. Okay, I had it set to 16,000 watts. So for whatever reason, I just installed the 2.00 RC 6.3 firmware from 6.1, and for whatever reason, the limits are higher. It used to only be 15,000 watts, so now it says 16,000 watts. So I said, hey, what the hell, man? Let's just put 16,000 watts and see what happens. What I didn't want to happen was that while I'm on the track, the bike just suddenly dies because you know, you're too much current, too much voltage, something like that, you know. Because I was testing it out on the street yesterday. We took it up to like 60 miles an hour, and it cut out on me. So and I was like, man, and it's pretty violent when it cuts out. It just boom, just suddenly no power, and you can't no control, nothing. You just kind of coast to. You just have to coast to a stop. But that didn't happen. It worked great the whole day. Both of these worked great the whole day. Okay, yeah. So I am very impressed at the punishment this battery endured today. Okay, it's more so than the Suron battery. I've ridden the Suron on the track many times, probably a handful of times. I've ridden it a handful of times with the Suron battery, and really the weak link in the bike is the battery. Okay, it gets too hot. If you use regen too much, it gets too hot. You know, and then it just dies on you. So actually, I didn't have any instance of that happening today. So the bike behaved really well, and it was pretty warm today. It was it would say 80s and probably 80s, low 90s, something like that. It was pretty warm. I was overheating out there, I'll tell you that. His Omega is not in good shape, apparently, because my legs are just killing me, man. After a while, I just could not just do the supermoto, you know, the leg out anymore. I couldn't lift my leg anymore. So I rode knee out most of the rest of the day. So like about half the day I rode like knee out, like road racer style. and you know what I found out? I ride the Suron better if I ride it like a road racer. Okay, I found that out. I was hitting the apexes like pretty easily. Yeah, I was. So I guess that's the way we're just gonna have to ride it from now on, or ride it knee out. You know, I don't lean it over a whole lot. I feel that I can lean it over a lot more with doing the supermoto style, you know, the leg out and everything, but it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just I'm so used to riding it like a supermoto. That's the way I rode it in the beginning. Like I said, oh, we're just gonna ride it like a supermoto. We're gonna ride it leg out, you know, leg out. But I rode it like a road racer today, just like a regular bike with my knee out, you know, just hanging off with you know, with your knee out. This and it was, dude, it was fun. There's nothing more satisfying than when you hit that apex and your knees just hovering over the apex, or the, you know, the rumble strip on the side of the track, man. It's just it's a good feeling, and you kind of can't get that feeling with the using the supermoto style, because you're kind of crossed up. You're pointing the other direction. So. Yeah, so I found out that if I ride this like a road racer style, it's actually better. So I kind of wish I had the folding handlebars that I had on the bike before, because like it would be more like a sport bike. You know, I remember it was really sporty riding with those handlebars, but I can't ride it off road without these wide bars. So. But yeah, so okay, that's what I figured out. Okay. And yeah, so the Lightspeed battery, it took a lot of punishment. So the last session, I was just like, okay, we're gonna run this battery till the bike doesn't want to run anymore, okay? And it just, we're out there. I'm out there 10 minutes. You know, we actually stayed out there more because my camera ran out of battery and I came back out. So you can add an extra 10 minutes. I was out there 25 minutes. So if you add the 25 minutes to the 10 minutes, that's like we were on the track for 35 minutes, okay? I was punishing this on the track for like 35 minutes straight almost, pretty much. And then like it wouldn't give out on me. Like I was using the regen. Generally, if you use the regen a lot, it heats the battery a lot, and then it just, you know, it just gives up on you. It'll overheat, and it'll just cut the power on me. It didn't do that once, not at all. It took a beating, man. It was 66 Celsius. I saw. I think the overheat threshold is 75 Celsius. So I got the battery pretty hot today, and it took it like a champ. I might have damaged it. I'm not sure, but yeah, I put it through the ringer today, and I'm very impressed with this battery. Okay, it blows the doors off of the Soron battery. Okay, yeah, I didn't pop a breaker, over voltage, over current, none of that. The bike just ran great the whole time. So one thing I do notice about the Lightspeed battery is I noticed after about 9 minutes on the track, you can noticeably feel that there's less power. And then from there on, about like 15 minutes, when you're at 15 minutes on the track, it's even less power. So the power keeps on getting lower and lower, and then at some point it starts to feel like the Soron battery. So that's kind of a bummer. It kind of gets slower as time goes along. But we were doing 15-minute lap sessions out there with both of these batteries, you know, and they behaved pretty much, okay. Yeah, both of them behaved really well. Yeah, even especially this with the regen, man. And I'm telling, oh yeah, okay. Let me talk about the regen. So the regen throttle. This is the first time I used it on the track. Okay. The last time we went to the track was after I had the Egg Rider set up with the BAC 2000 and the Soron battery. Okay. And we had off throttle regen. Okay. So that's when you roll off the throttle, it regens. So I had that regen like jacked up pretty high, and it was hard to control. The regen throttle, it's precision braking is what I want to call it. So how I was doing it, so this is the regen throttle right here, and this is the front brake. So before I got into the corner, I would kind of lean back so we don't do like an endo, you know. I would lean back a little bit. Okay, yeah. So I would do full front brake and full regen, like hard, while I was straight in the corner, and then as we began tipping the bike into the corner, I would release the front brake, and then I would drag the regen. I would give it a little bit of regen, and then maybe halfway through the turn I would let it go, and then I would get back on the throttle. I was very good about not mixing the regen and the throttle either. I didn't have any problems with that. Like, if you're not careful, if you accidentally hit that regen and you're on the throttle, you'll lurch forward, you know, type of thing. That didn't happen to me at all today. So it's very intuitive, the regen. Okay, yeah. So I used the regen throttle at the track for the first time, and it's awesome, dude. It's awesome. I like it. It's here to stay. I'm just gonna use it all the time. I used it off road, riding on the street. And now I got to use it at a track, and it works very good on the track. Now that being said, if you use the regen a lot, it's going to heat your battery up. So at some point, you might have to actually use the real brakes. So, okay, so it's a good idea to still practice using both of the brake levers. Okay, but for the most part, I use the rear brake and the front brake. I hate his Mega thinks for the braking, I think I need to upgrade the front brakes. The bike is a lot faster now, so we need to stop it a lot. We need to slow it down a lot faster. So if we could have, you know, some better front braking, and then we'll with the regen, I think that would be good. I do notice the regen gets a little weaker like I mentioned, like after like 9 minutes, the regen gets weaker too. So, but it's still pretty strong with this. Now this one I had a problem with the regen. I forgot to set it. I forgot to set the regen current limit properly. It was set at like 17 amps, and then so 17 amps that's like nothing for regen. So pretty much no regen at all. You gotta set that thing to like 40 amps or 50 amps. So I had like no regen. So I got to practice riding with the regular brakes, pretty much just freewheeling into the corner. I did notice that I was kind of relying on the regen too much, like to slow the bike down. And all I can say is if you're on the brakes, the bike won't turn. Okay, so you gotta. The ideal way to ride the bike on the track is when you're on the straight, you do all your braking in the straight line, okay, and then you pitch it in, and then you get on the throttle. So you slow it down fast enough so you can pitch it in, and then you just get on the throttle right away. But I can cheat a little bit. What I do is like I mentioned, I'm on the throttle, I get off, I brake with both of the brakes, the regen brake and the front brake, and then I release the front brake and I pitch it in the corner, but I'm still on the regen just a little bit, and when I'm almost at the apex, I let go of it and then I get on the throttle. Okay. It sounds complicated, but it's very intuitive after a while. Okay. So yeah. So that's it for the regen. Okay, yeah, the regen worked great. Okay, definitely. One of the biggest advantages of having the BAC controller over the Suron controller is the regen. You can adjust how much regen you want. You know, it goes from 0 to 100%. You know, if you feel there's too much regen, you dial it down. Okay, so I'm having a kind of problem with the NXT display right now where I can't adjust it with the NXT display. So I still have to go in the backdoor app and put the number in. It wasn't like that before. I don't know what happened. But it worked fine. I have it set to 77%, by the way. I tried to put 75, but it made it 77 for whatever reason. But it works great. It works great, and the battery can handle it. It's awesome. So like it didn't really hiccup at all. So the regen on the Suron controller, it's crap compared to the BAC controller. It's, you know, the regen is like, it's nice to have. 80s Mega is spoiled with it now. Okay, I can't really ride like okay, I'll go. So we're gonna talk about like the difference in the bikes. Okay, so I rode both of these bikes. Okay, this bike did great today. This is like my benchmark for the track. Okay, it's pretty fast. It's a 170, but I got worn out riding this bike. Okay, I found out like by the time I get to 15 minutes, that's it. Like at some point, I was just like, ooh, at 10 minutes, I'm like, I want to get off the track already. I'm tired. It's probably partially because 80s Mega is out of shape. You know, I haven't been to the track in a minute, but yeah, this bike was it was a handful to ride compared to this one. This bike, throttle is so light and smooth. The bike is so light. It doesn't take a lot of effort to just get it to turn in the corner, and that's what we were doing today. That's probably why I was really tired. It was just like left, right, you know. It's just turn after turn after turn. You got no break. So this bike really wore me out. Where the Light B, it didn't wear me out at all, man. I was like in the zone at the end. Can you believe it? I rode this thing for 35 minutes on the track, you know, and it didn't even hiccup. So, and it was so light. But yeah, I did get really tired. So, but definitely this one you got better endurance riding this because it's literally half the weight of this bike. So, one thing I did notice is that like yeah, it's got bigger wheels. They're bigger Meteor wheels. It feels like there's more. It's more. What's the word? It feels more planted than this bike. Okay. Sometimes. Oh yeah. Okay. Let me talk about. I almost crashed like twice. Okay. So there's this one turn. It's the same turn every time, dude. And like I think every bike, like this bike and this bike, I've had problems on that turn all the time. There's like a tar snake, and if you hit it just right, it's like a big tar snake. Hit it just right, the back end comes swinging around. Okay, and I did it twice on this bike. I don't think I really did that much on this. The second time I did it, I had to go off the track. Okay, I was off the track already. But but like what I did was the back went out, and I stuck my foot out. I dabbed, you know, so I was able to save it like twice. Okay, so I almost crashed like twice. I think there was an instance where I went off the track once also. So I don't remember. I probably just ran wide, or I wasn't paying attention and went off the track. So other than that, you know, nothing broke. I did lose one of these sliders, man. I think it's time to go buy. I think it's time to buy some proper Supermoto sliders. Okay, these Ghetto Hades Omega plastic sliders. I think it's time to get better ones. Okay, so I did have I have the slider shoes on the Soran, and I'm still dragging foot peg on the track. Okay, so the bike is just so low it drags foot pegs easily. One side's a little more worn out than the other. I do notice that if you look at this bike, particularly this bike, the right side of the tire looks like it got a lot hotter than the left side, because you can see it's a lot more. It's got a lot more boogers. It's got more boogers than the left side. So that leads me to believe, like, yeah, there's a lot more right turns than left turns on that track. Okay, or you know, whatever, the tires got hotter doing the right turns than the left turns. I don't think it's necessarily. Hades Omega is better at doing left turns too, so that's an interesting thing. I leaned it all the way over on the right side for the right turns, and Hades Omega is not very good at right turns, so that's my non-dominant turn side. That's what I'm gonna call it. Okay, the Light B, same story. Yeah, the Light B, same story. I can see the edge here. It still looks like there's like still like a chicken strip on it. There's no rubber being like, there's no boogers on it on the edge. About like 1 inch there's no boogers. But on the other side, I've leaned it all the way. Yeah, so yeah, that leads me to believe that that track had a lot of right turns today. Okay. Yeah, so I think that pretty much sums it up. We just got to go through all the data and stuff. That's what I want to say. Both bikes ran great. I did notice my fork seal. I think my fork seal is leaking on the Kawasaki. I think it's because I put some heavier fluid in there, and the front is like super stiff. So I probably blew the fork seal or something. I'm not sure. I need to go put some lighter fork fluid in there. So. Both bikes did great. I didn't break any of them. I did lose the slider on this one, and the fork is leaking on that one. Yeah, both bikes worked great. What more can I say? I didn't have any problems with the chain. I didn't have any problems with the belt. I might want to check the belt out. It's kind of making some noise, and I think it does that when it's like dirty or it gets hot or something. So I'll probably pop the cover. I did check the belt before I left. I took the cover off, and it'll look fine. It's kind of like how I left it. So improvements. So is there anything we could improve out there? Oh, Hades Omega needs to do more fitness stuff. I need to work out, okay? Because both my legs and my arms, they're pumped, man. I'm telling you, I was tired, and it was hot. I had to drink I was drinking a lot of water, and I was not peeing it out. I'm telling you, I was just sweating it all out. It was hot today, so that's why we had such good traction, though. So I was gonna say the traction was pretty good out there. I didn't really mess with the tire pressures at all. I think I'm running like a 28 or 26 on these guys, and I think I'm running like 26 on this. So if anything, I could probably go down on the front. I would lower the tire pressure on the front. Actually, the front got pretty warm on this one, so I think I would stick with this tire pressure. Maybe go down a little bit. So if you guys don't know, when you lower when you go to the racetrack, you don't ride the same tire pressures you ride on the street. So they're generally lower, so you can get more grip. The hotter the tire gets, the more grippy it gets, the more gooey the rubber is. But if it's too low, then the tire gets too hot. Okay, you don't want that either. So you want it at a point where like you start to see the boogers on it. If you're not seeing any boogers on it, you probably need to lower your tire pressure, and that looks like the case for the front on the KLX. On the Light B, it looks like it's just right. It's got more boogers in the rear actually. So if anything, I probably want to keep the front how it is and the back I want to, but it's okay. And the back, the back maybe I can lower it a little bit, but one thing to note is like, yeah, it's dependent on how hot the track is. Okay, if you're not getting, if it's a cold day at the track and the track is cold, then you probably want to lower your tire pressure more. Okay, if it's hot at the track, then you're probably going to have better you're probably going to have better grip with higher tire pressures. Okay, so that's the thing about the tire pressure. So what could I improve upon? I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think I really want to do anything to it anymore. Yeah, short of maybe I should get a BAC 4000. You know, but I'm really impressed with the BAC 2000, and that heatsink works like a charm, dude. I'm telling you. The bike didn't the controller didn't overheat at all. Okay, it was about, I think it got to 100 degrees. I think the heatsink actually got to 100 degrees. So you figure, yeah, maybe it did overheat a little bit. Like it probably made it to 120. I didn't check. I should have probably gone in the back door after and checked. You know, but for the most part, if you can stick your hand on the heatsink, it's not hot. So, and every time I stuck my hand on the heatsink, it was not hot. It was barely warm. Is what I can say. So that heatsink did a great job. It was pretty windy at the track, and it actually wasn't kind of too hot while you're on the track. So like it got pretty good cooling. That's what I'm gonna say. So I was expecting it to overheat today, and it didn't. That was the goal, to put this thing through its paces, to torture test it, and it passed with flying colors. I could not believe it. I was expecting it to overheat or something, you know. I got the battery to get to 66 degrees Celsius. That's like almost 140 or something. It's pretty close to that. I'll put a subtitle below what that is in Fahrenheit. But at 75 degrees Celsius, the battery will say like, hey, you know, no more power for you. It's too hot. So it'll do that. And this one will do that too, but I think the threshold is much lower. Yeah, I'm about ready to just chuck this Sauron battery, man. I'm just going to sell this Sauron battery to somebody that wants a Sauron battery, and I want to buy another Lightspeed battery now, because the Lightspeed battery works so good. Now, if I had, this is the first time I've been to the track with 2 batteries, and it's nice. You could just swap batteries, you know. You can charge one and then take one out on the track, and you know, so the battery doesn't have to work so hard, is what I would say. So that was nice having 2 batteries. It'd be nice if I had 2 Lightspeed batteries though. So that way you have 2 really badass batteries, you know, and then like you go on the track with one, you charge, come back, you charge it, throw the other one on there, and then you go back out on the track again. Also, what I was doing is I was letting the battery rest. Okay, that's an important thing too. So when you're charging it, it gets hot. So you need to let it rest for like 5 or 10 minutes. That's what I would do. When I unplugged it from the charger, I would let it rest for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I would go ride like another bike. I would ride this bike. Okay. Yeah. So something that I can improve is, yeah, we can buy another Lightspeed battery. But it's so expensive. It's making us have money, man. If I sell this and the old charger, we might have enough money. I could probably sell my controller too. I think I'm gonna stick with the BAC controller. I'm pretty sure. There was sometimes it's gotten to the point where it's pretty reliable now. Okay. I just did DoorDash with this the other day, so and then they were on the racetrack the next day, and it's just ripping it up. So, yeah, I think one of the improves is better brakes. We need a better front brake. Okay, with the Regen, I don't really have to use the rear brake anymore. So, I did notice the rear brake I had it set where it was like. There wasn't a lot of travel, and now there's a lot of travel. So I don't know what happened. We must have worn out the rear brake when we were out there. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a better rotor, and I might get better rotor, and I might get better pads. I think that should do it. I don't really want to upgrade the caliper. I think it's fine. We like I said, we got the Regen, and then you still have the other rear brake, so That's your backup right there. Yeah, I think, and I don't think I really faded the brakes at all while I was out there too. By the way, the brakes worked pretty good. I didn't get any brake. I didn't get brake fade, or I didn't get much brake fade, is what I'm gonna say. Okay. But I do realize, like, yeah, if I can slow the bike down faster, I can get back on the throttle faster. So I think I want to upgrade the brakes now. Hazen Vegas said, like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna upgrade the brakes, and then now like Hazen Vegas thinking I should just upgrade the brakes. So we'll get a floating caliper or something, and maybe like those brake pads with the freaking with the heatsink on them. Yeah, we'll get that. So I think the brakes is what you want to do. Okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to do. I don't really have anything else to say. So we gotta go through all the lap times. Okay. So that'll be a separate video. That'll be we'll go through the lap times for the Lightspeed battery, the Sauron battery, and the KLX, and then we'll compare it, and then we'll make some notes. I had a great time on both bikes though, so we just need to go over the lap times. All right. So.